What is up, diehards? Mr. West in the building. Thank you for listening to Awol Sports. Happy Monday. I want to go over the Kirk Cousins situation, the latest football news with free agency fastly approaching, and NBA scores from over the weekend. What did I tell you? A report comes out about how Jay Gruden and the Redskins believe they can win games without quarterback Kirk Cousins. I've been repeating myself how smart they were for franchise tagging the guy 2 years in a row, a product of their system, a very confident and a little cocky head coach, and the team that's moved on from veterans Alfred Morris already. Next is Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. And it's only a matter of time before Cousins is shown the door. He has to know this. When you're in a workplace, there's a sense of rank, a sense of appreciation. In a lot of environments, there's the unfortunate feeling that you're a replaceable employee. Not to say that Washington is wrong in their thinking, but with Cousins saying you like that, and the fact that he hasn't signed the franchise tag deal yet, it's very telling. I'm in agreement with using Cousins as long as you don't have to commit to him. I'm not a fan of the franchise tag to begin with, let's get that clear. But analyzing how teams use it and who they use it on, the Skins get an A+. Especially since their line of thinking was what I thought about the situation all along. I may have been guessing on who the next QB would be for them, but a guess nonetheless that, hey, Washington may be in the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes. But the latest report says that they have confidence in a guy that's been here for 3 years, backup Colt McCoy. Before you write him off just because he's a veteran that's been a backup, remember that most players drafted by the Cleveland Browns are put behind the 8 ball. Next, McCoy started some games in Cleveland, also in Washington. But in the games with the Redskins, he completed 70% of his passes, something only 2 quarterbacks did in 2016. 70%. You may think he would produce along the lines of, say, Alex Smith at best. But is that such a bad thing when Kansas City just made the playoffs? Smith's made 4 postseason appearances so far. Washington, they made the playoffs 2 of the last 4 years, just barely missed out this past season. So Kirk Cousins, he's chucked for over 4,000 yards 2 years in a row now, where he's thrown over 300 yards 14 times in that span. Completion percentage in the high 60s. So taking those averages, a 27-12 touchdown to interception ratio, that does sound pretty damn good. When it comes to Gruden's offense, he prefers to predicate things around running the football. He likes a balanced offense for sure, but with a more decisive quarterback, and a cheaper one at that. One that isn't going to throw the team out of a game. To me, the Redskins had an inside track on a playoff spot. And then, Thanksgiving came around. Cousins struggled. They lost 2 of their last 6 games. They were sent home. Now, he actually played fantastic against the Cowboys in the Thanksgiving loss. But after that is where he stumbled. in the month of December. 2-2 record, both wins on the road, both losses at home. 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. When the going got tough, he only completed 62% of his passes in the final 2 games with the playoffs on the line. Cousins is going to get a bigger contract, but you're not talking to the person that's going to commit to him. I wouldn't. I think he's hit his ceiling. And it's not too shabby. Not at all. But if there's another guy that the team truly feels can win just as many games, if not more, and he makes much less money, isn't that a no-brainer transition to make? You think the Redskins were explosive, but looking at the amount of points they put up last season, it was the same as Alex Smith and the Chiefs. The same as Tyrod Taylor on the Bills. Yeah, KC made the postseason, but you don't consider them a great offense. And the Redskins scored a tad more than the Titans, Panthers, and Eagles, all of which watched the postseason. Washington has a solid O-line in place, a great offensive-minded coach, and a defense that could use some more beef, some more financial investment, free agency, draft. The defense needs help. Much like the Saints want to improve their defense by dangling wideout Brandon Cooks, it's not like they are left without capable receivers. Michael Thomas eclipsed 1,000 yards as a rookie. Willie Snead topped 800. Cooks, entering the final year of his rookie deal, is going to be due a bigger contract extension as well. Plus, the guy got vocal and salty in a blowout victory. Not a loss, but a win with a Hall of Fame quarterback and an elite offensive coach. So yeah, the Saints feel they can find another guy to plug in while spending that big-time money. Instead of giving it to Cooks in an extension, spending it on their weaknesses, which is everywhere on defense. For example, New Orleans can find their next Brandon Cooks, a former first-rounder, or their next Kenny Stills, a former fifth-rounder, or their next Marcus Colston, a former seventh-rounder. And some people think they found their next Colston in the rook that just had a 1,000-yard season in Michael Thomas. So that's the kind of thinking when it comes to the Redskins and Cousins. That he doesn't blow McCoy out of the water. That he wants to ad-lib maybe a little too much. Not the quickest decision maker either. The little things that you can say I'm splitting hairs about. But that's how tough decisions are made. When you dissect everything and come around to a conclusion. Gruden may feel that McCoy has earned a shot at the job. After coaching Andy Dalton from his rookie year, making the playoffs with him, then inheriting Cousins, making and missing the playoffs with him, that's just a coach and a process you're going to have to trust. Washington showed that they trust it and they believe in Gruden by recently extending him through 2020. And I know Gruden left the same year that Cincinnati drafted A.J. McCarron, but that doesn't mean he wasn't part of the scouting process for the position that he's focused on the most as a former quarterback himself and a former offensive coordinator. He was with the Bengals for a few years. Those ties just don't go away. The belief in that system or those scouts and those relationships, it doesn't just go away. So maybe Gruden is eyeballing McCarron. Possible trade Or AJ's entering the final year of his rookie deal. He no longer wants to be a backup. Everyone knows that. So maybe he's looking ahead to a year from now if he doesn't make a trade for him. Maybe free agency. That's certainly a possibility. And another cheaper alternate than Cousins would be. I'm not all over Cousins because I don't think he's a capable quarterback. Sure, he's proven that he can throw for yards and make his team competitive enough. I just think I've seen his ceiling, or that I can project the potential that still remains when you talk about Kirk Cousins. And playing for Kyle Shanahan, it would work out for his career. If not Gruden, then Shanahan for sure. Keep in perspective, though, his 19-21 record, his 72-42 TD to INT ratio, how defensively strong the NFC West is, and the fact that the 49ers are starting from scratch. I just think he's the type of guy that needs a good situation already established. Not so much the star QB that you pay over $20 million that can actually make his teammates better and bring the level of the offense up a notch. It's not necessarily a knock on him. He's a year younger than Matthew Stafford, and we just witnessed a very positive season from Stafford in Detroit, growing, stepping up as a leader, getting the Lions into the playoffs. That stuff doesn't just happen, though. Not overnight. And it takes time. There's moving pieces around a quarterback, the playbook, coaches, personnel, life away from the game. So no, I'm not arguing that Cousins shouldn't be a starter in this league. He's very, very capable. And now with an Awol Sports update, Vikings outside linebacker Chad Greenway hangs up the cleats, calling it a career after 11 seasons with the same team that drafted him in the first round back in 2006. Greenway bounced back from a knee injury as a rookie to become Mr. Durable, only missing 4 games over the past decade, where he made 2 Pro Bowls and was named All-Pro in 2012. Greenway probably should have made more Pro Bowls, to be honest. He's been an upper-tier outside linebacker throughout his career, racking up over 1,300 tackles, good for 4th in Minnesota history, along with 18 sacks, 11 interceptions, and 8 forced fumbles. He's got 6 seasons with over 100 tackles. Fantastic. Not a Hall of Fame career, but a very good player that had a very good career. As NFL free agency nears, beginning on March 9th, Deshaun Jackson is expected to leave Washington on Thursday when the new NFL season begins. The free agent price range is rumored to be between $10 and $12 million per year. He's been linked to his former team in Philadelphia, as well as the Buccaneers, who really want to pair up Mike Evans with someone else as they are moving on from 34-year-old Vincent Jackson. Free agent quarterback Mike Glennon started his career in Tampa Bay. He's excited to sign a contract rumored around $15 million annually, double what Tampa Bay offered him to remain Jameis Winston's backup. So that would put Glennon in the pay range of Alex Smith, Andy Dalton, and Sam Bradford. He would get the inside track to start for his next team. The QB-needy teams linked to Glennon are the 49ers, Bears, and Jets. Glennon is a 6'6", former third-round pick that's played in 21 games. He's averaged about 215 yards passing, completing south of 60% though, in 2013 and 2014. The Jets are said to be the most likely to sign him, with San Fran making a late push. If a team is in need of a defensive player, Look no further than Arizona. D lineman Calais Campbell and safety Tony Jefferson both expected to leave. Campbell is a former Pro Bowler that still has football left in the tank, coming off of an 8-sack season. He's rumored to be coveted by the Broncos and the Redskins, among several others. Tony Jefferson picked up a career-high 96 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pair of fumbles, linked to the Jets and the Raiders. The Patriots will have some suitors for tight end Martellus Bennett, so it won't be easy for them to keep him around. The Raiders and Jaguars are both interested, and I'm sure several more are as well that haven't been reported yet. Bennett turns 30 on Friday. Meanwhile, the 49ers release wide receiver Torrey Smith. Supposedly, the Eagles inquired about him at the trade deadline, but it remains to be seen who's interested in Smith. Another player Philly is in talks about, along with Tennessee, and you've probably heard, is Brandon Cooks. The Patriots offered the 32nd pick of the draft, a first rounder, for the Saints playmaker, and were declined. Well, in part because it's the last pick of the first round, New Orleans is seeking a mid-first rounder. Philly has the 14th pick. The Titans draft 5th. They're not trading that, but they also draft 18th, and it's widely believed that they would have more ammo to get a deal done. So, there is a belief that the Eagles, with new wide receivers coach Mike Rowe, who comes from the Rams, are targeting Kenny Britt, who comes from the Rams, after his first 1,000-yard season of his career. In hoop news, Kevin Love is back on the court doing shooting and agility drills. Good news for Cleveland. J.R. Smith, also on the brink, perhaps returning within the next 10 days. Now that players placed on waivers are no longer eligible to be picked up by another team for a playoff run, Miami is expected to let go of former All-Star Chris Bosh. And recently, the Heat have met with free agent big Jared Sullinger. And tonight, players only on TNT. Players only night. Talking about analysts. Paul George and the Pacers play Kemba Walker and the Hornets, followed by CP3, Blake Griffin and the Clippers, squaring off against Isaiah Thomas and Doc Rivers' former team, the Celtics. Tonight on TNT, players only night. Let's turn our attention to the NBA scoreboard from Sunday. Before we cut out of here, a pair of NBA Suns in action. The first being Glenn Robinson III, drills a game winner from deep. Pacers 97, 96 in Atlanta. Robinson hit a few trays on the night for 11 points. Paul George, too smooth, 34 points, knocking down 6 from downtown. The other Sun, Atlanta's Tim Hardaway Jr., subbing in, leads the team with 24 points in a heartbreaker. Isaiah Thomas takes the Celtics to face his former team in Phoenix. He coughs it up late, and Tyler Ulis sinks a game-winning 3 for the 109-106 victory. IT4 drops 35 points. Jay Crowder contributes a double-double. They fall to the Suns. Ulis winds up with 20. Eric Bledsoe, 28 points, 9 assists. Allen Williams off the pine also notches a double-double. Another exciting finish over the weekend. Rudy Gobert gets a game-winning tip-in. After official review, the basket stands. Utah clinging on to that 4th seed in the West. They win at Sacramento 110-109. Gobert finishes with 16 points, 24 boards, and 3 rejections. Rodney Hood and Gordon Hayward team up for 51 points. Double-double for Costa Koufos in the loss. Boys, Washington happy they traded for Bojan Bogdanovic. The Wizards edge the Magic 115-114. Boggs scores 15 of his 27 in the fourth and final quarter, despite Aaron Gordon and Bismack Biyombo hustling for double-doubles for Orlando. John Wall gets 19 and 10 dimes, along with Bradley Beal's game-high 32. Just too much. The Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, drip and drop a combined 60 points on the Knicks, 112-105. The Warriors pull away. Curry leads with 31, 8, and 6. Derrick Rose with a great effort, going for 28. Kristaps Porzingis, 24 and 15. The Mavericks at home doing something right, holding Russell Westbrook scoreless in the second and fourth quarters. 104-89 beating the Thunder. Russ still puts up 29. Enes Kanter with a bench double-double, matching Dirk Nowitzki. 22 from Seth the Younger Curry. And the Pelicans' Kentucky front court dominates the purple and gold, good enough to withstand a comeback from the Lakers, 105-97. Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins rocking and rolling, 54 points, 27 rebounds between them. Drew Holiday and Julius Randle both double-double. What have I been telling you about Drew Holiday? All right, diehards. Hope you had a productive Monday. NFL free agency, it's this week. So we're going to hear more rumors. We're actually going to get some news and some signings. I'll fill you guys in tomorrow. Sayonara.